Hello, in this section, what we are going to do is we are going to talk about the next problem in India, that is a challenge to Indian democracy. It is political violence. Okay, now what is politics? Politics is struggle for power. Okay, people struggle for power, and that is normal. And you have the right in a democratic country where there is a multi-party system. There is a struggle for ideology, power. Based on ideology, there is a struggle. Each party has a different ideology. Now, if the ideology, if they have a aim, they have to wield power, but violence is there. Now politics, and violence means the uh, the things that are very not acceptable to the society or not good for the society. Not good for the society. They are violent things. People should not participate. It has a bad impact on the morale of the people. Okay, so political violence, post poll violence and pre poll violence, these are the two types of violence. If we tell about election violence, before the election, some cadres, we tell them, cadres means party workers of supposedly TMC. Now let's take our example of West Bengal. In West Bengal, TMC is in power and BJP is trying to infiltrate, and they are trying to wield power. Before the election, there were post plus poll violence, pre-poll violence, because they killed some party workers of their party, and they did the opposite. So in this way, party workers are killed, people are killed, and also there is an election commission, but the situation is very much so dark that it's difficult for the election commission itself to interfere, but it interferes, and there are military deployments in this state. Military deployments, CRPF Jawans are there, and they are just guarding the polls to stop this political violence, but they are not there always, and this some organization or groups to achieve narrow goals through violence. It cannot win people's heart, but it could win the elections because it was violent. It scared people. There were treachery. There was robbery in the house of the opponent. So there was massacre. So this political violence can be of different forms. These are mm, organizations, you can say, which have some political demands and justify violence for this use, for their use of violence. Now there are different types, such as terrorism. They have certain goals from the government, and cross-border terrorism. This is border with Bangladesh, or border smuggling of goods are there. Cross-border terrorism is there. Guerrilla warfare means attacking the enemy from the back. In previous days, guerrilla warfare was an effective instrument, and there are violent conflict resolution, rioting, civil war. The parties have been so more they are so against each other that they are just fighting to kill each other, to take revenge, and in this process people are killed, common people are killed. Now targeted violence are there, means on this day this poll is there, and we will do violence on that area, particular area, because there we can win seats and we can easily scare away people into giving us votes. That is also a tactics of political violence. And armed militancy is also there, police deployment and military activities by the people themselves, by the organization or party. For example, terrorism, they target groups and do the military attacks on them, on the civilians. Now, what are the forms of violence in India? First is the linguistic form. Linguistic form is here the form which helps. Now, what is linguistic violence? We have linguistic, as I've told you, means culture or language. Now, we have love for our own culture, and other for other culture we have hatred. So we have aggressive love and hatred for others culture, and we think that our culture is superior. There is always a superiority in the mind. So this unfortunately has led to Indian politics and violence, amalgamating them. Now there has been some states who do this development, some opposition. Partly from here, they say that Sif Sena especially, they say that Hindi should be made the national language. We should definitely have it as a national language. But other Dravidian extremists in the south, they believe that Hindu cannot be imposed on them. They do not want Hindu, so they do anti-Hindi protests. I don't mean Hindu, anti-Hindi protests and anti-English violence in some northern states and anti-Hindi violence in some southern states are there. Now, what is the second type? It is the terrorist violence. As I've told you that there are different terrorist groups who harm India politically. They interfere not only in politics but also the development. If this area is ravaged with terrorism, do you think there will be development here? No, there cannot be development. The Jammu and Kashmir, the disputed India's Jammu and Kashmir is also a part of this, victim of sometimes terrorism. Other parts are also there. Naxal movement are there, Naxal rights, and they are bigoted fundamentalists. They are very radical in nature. That means they are very violent in nature. So they do terrorist violence. Indian states, New Delhi, have been experiencing the bomb blasts. We have seen also the Mumbai terrorist attacks in West Bengal, Odisha. Naxalite violence are also there. So there has been a continued terrorism in this regard. Next is secessionist violence. What is that? In northeastern states, this violence means they always create terror here. They always create terror in the minds of people, and they have their base based on the violence. And these are again organizations who are very violent, and they unnecessarily invade the life of the people, civilians living here, and they have a purpose which is very narrow, and to make the people feel, scare away the people, to make the people fear of them. Now fourth is caste violence. Caste violence, I have told you what is casteism in the previous videos. Now we have seen casteism is prevalent in Bihar, UP, and these states are mainly engaged in caste violence because if there are some low caste groups and there are some Brahmin or upper caste groups, there is always a struggle, as I said to you in the previous video. Do watch that. There is always a power struggle between these sections of the society. So in our constitution we have the reservations for SC, ST, and other backward classes, and some anti-reservation propaganda has been done from the groups of the upper caste. They do not like them giving extra favor. Caste has been a major factor in Indian politics, and communalism too is prevalent in this state. Communalism in northeastern states, we have the tribal violence. If there is transfer or migration of people from here to here, intra migration, then people present in here will agitate and do tribal violence. As I told you, they will do tribal violence. Now, fourth is the politics of violent agitations. Now, some political parties, if they are actively present in the Indian politics, they start strikes, dharnas, and bunds. Now, this is also a type of violence because peaceful protests are acceptable, but when it becomes violent, then it causes what it causes is they do burning of trains, platforms, public property, private property, and they always have been characterizing the Indian politics. We have seen one day or so there is always a encroachment of violence in some areas. Now, what is social violence? Social violence, you see, what the word violence we know. Social means society. In a society where both men and women live, but men are discriminated against. Here we will let social violence against women, and this women are thought to be so-called weak. We have instances of female feticide, and some religious and caste groups do not support women in different activities. They think that women are inferior to us. So these groups are supporting the cases of discrimination and violence against women. This is also a type of political violence. Now come the very political violence. Now, murder of political leaders are known as assassinations. Assassinations are political violence. High-profile leaders are being murdered. So our two prime ministers were murdered. We have to face deaths inflicted by political violence. You will name them in the comment section. Who are they? And there has been in the land of Buddha, Gandhi, who propagated non-violence, violence continues to live. That is a very sad part of Indian politics. Okay. Now, electoral politics. I have told you before, and post-poll election or post-pre-poll violence are there. Electoral violence. See elections. What you can see here. Electoral means elections. Till date, there have been 17 Lok Sabha elections. The political parties are in struggle for power. They had been contesting from various constituencies and participating in the elections. And electoral violence is also providing a new shade to Indian politics, which is a bad thing because electoral violence takes place at different places, and I've said both booth capturing are there, then scaring away the candidates, not allowing the voters to exercise their political rights. Can you imagine? So this is what electoral violence means. People are the sufferers everywhere. Then we have seen certain violent movements we read that is a part of political instability. Here in this map you can see that the red marked areas are the most affected with violence, less than the orange areas. They are in, you can say they are first in violence, this is second, and this is third. You will not find more green places in our country. It is full of political violence and political instability is present because the politics is not a stable, it is very violent in nature even if elections takes place. Now, we should know about any 4 to 5 violent movements. I would give you an example. First is the Naxalite movement. Armed Naxals, they have been involved in anti-national activities like killing of people, policemen, and those who oppose their ideology. Second, where it is prevalent, I have told you West Bengal, Jharkhand, Bihar, Andhra Pradesh, Orissa. Okay, the state's Naxal violence has been there. The government has taken. What has the government done? See, there are two ways you can deal with a terrorist. It is that policy of appeasement, giving him what he want, or giving him what he want, and also the conciliation or consensus policy is coming on an agreement. This is also a way. And another way is paramilitary forces. They deploy paramilitary forces in strategic sites, and the sites they target where the violence is more, and they try to kill. There is again violence from the government side, and both sides they open shooting is there is violence. So terrorist outfits are also present, as I've told you, in Jammu and Kashmir. Terrorist organization in Jammu and Kashmir is Khalistan Liberation Force. They're trying to revive terrorism in Punjab, and United National Front of Manipur, and Maoist Communist Party of Manipur, Tripura Tiger Force. In Tripura you will find many tiger, so you can remember Tripura Tiger Force is present in Tripura, and Garo National Liberation Army is there in Meghalaya. So tribal violence are present in these tribal states. This violence because there are different many tribal groups in Sikkim, also in this northeastern states, except Assam. In Assam it is less. There are hundreds of varieties of cultures of people, ethnicity. So they have violence because they want to wield power over one another, they want to grab power. So there is a violence to also to protect their community. If their number or their position goes on decreasing, then it will not be beneficial for the future of the group. Okay, to give you a number of these insurgencies by the Maoists, they are ranging from 6,500 to 9,500 cadets. They are from which parties? People's War Groups, Maoist Communist Center, and PLGA. Okay, People's Liberation Guerrilla Army. Now they are different from the Communist Party of India. Communist Party Marxist is banned in India, not this one. This one is okay, this plays an important role in Indian politics, but this is banned because for their insurgencies. Now, what are the suggestions for meeting the political violence? Proper education of the people. Time and again, this policy is coming into our minds because if there is, it is said that if you open an educational center, you close a prison. So that carries a huge volume, talks about what is the importance of education. If people are educated, yes, this is not good for me to take part in violence. People are mature enough to remove themselves from the violence. They are socializing with politics in a healthy manner and controlling inequalities. If you see in the states which are majorly attacked by political instability, then you will see this violence. These states are also suffering from communalism, casteism, poverty, illiteracy, ignorance. We need to remove the inequalities, and moral education is very important at the school and college level, and job oriented educations are also there. Now if there are enough jobs, otherwise the students will go on strikes, and politicians will easily carry them away from their studies and make use of them. So they need to get jobs. For jobs, our education and job gap is too much that most of the people are unemployed. Unemployment crisis is in India has the youngest population in the world, so it needs to have a proper system of education. Efficient law and order system should be there. There should be control over political corruption. The independent agency should be set up so as to check, eliminate the uh, political corruption. There should be effective code of conduct. Means the code of conduct or the relationship between parties should be determined by a proper usage of words. If the usage of words are like very bad and harsh, that will create violence. Harsh words are also violent. We should also campaign against the social evils of casteism. We need to work for socio-economic welfare of the people, and if there is a dispute between parties or between regions, we need to have a speedy, inexpensive system of conflict resolution. And we need to not criminalize politics, because criminalization of politics means that there is, after election, before election, throughout the year, there has been political violence and killing of the opponents, cadres and our own cadres. So people think that politics in India is a very difficult. No, not many people think about it. They only think that politics is limited to giving their vote, but they do not give their opinions. And they fear that there are criminals, only criminals are go into politics. They want to check, go away with their corruption. See, one thing can be done: no person with a criminal record should be permitted to contest election. But it is not so, we see. And we should have better respect for human rights. People should follow the values and objectives given in the preamble, that is justice, liberty, equality, fraternity. That should be the objectives of politics in India. And there should be an effective role of the civil society. If we criticize violence, that is not going to help. We need to involve in the fight against violence. We should do some campaigns against the social evils, against this violence. And we should have zero tolerance for violence, because we have faith and more faith in the dignity of the individual. Truth, we should determine a political party based on their actions and deeds and what they speak. It is very important. And if it is destructive for our morality, destructive for our society, we should vote that in that way. This is simply, violence is born in the minds of people and translated into actions. So we need to keep people away from violence. And there has been increasing power and muscle role in politics, that should be removed. And the election commission has taken some steps to make India's elections violent free. And there are some vigilant voters who are refraining from electoral malpractices. So what are electoral malpractices? That the vote counting is a particular person is going from one state to another, putting his vote, and there are different kinds of manipulation of vote. So we should remain away from this violence, because at the end of it, it is only selflessness and not the country's development. Thank you for watching.